Juan, after his $1 million tour of Europe, is really, really tired right now. He needs to get
I
some rest.
drove throughout Europe.
So,
How am I a
so I'll
multimillionaire if I
just,
drove
I'll
around Europe,
just,
man?
I'll handle it, Juan. You don't have to say anything.
Oi, bruvs! Welcome to episode 29 of the Too Hard to Pass podcast.
Wow.
I am your co-host, Juan Martinez, and to my left or to my right, he has no idea what's going on because I just made a voice. It's Jacques Slade, everybody. How we doing, bruv?
Wow. That's how we're starting today.
Yes, that's how we're
Oi,
starting today.
oi, oi, bro.
I could not hold that for a whole podcast, but yeah, I tried. I
Oi,
tried.
bro. Okay,
Hey,
all right.
bruv.
Yeah, well, you guys see how this podcast is going to start. Welcome back from your billionaire
Oh,
vacation to
no,
Europe.
no, we are
Um,
not
and
doing
now
that. We are
you're and now
absolutely not
you're
doing that.
just speaking the truth here, and now you're back and hitting us with oi, bruv, when
Oi,
we
bruvs.
start. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm excited to see where this goes. Yeah.
It's a fun trip, yeah. It's a fun trip, yeah. Yeah, no, it's great. But anyways, I am
Wow.
back from a gallivanting excavation, whatever, trip to Europe. It was 2 weeks of exhausting travel all around. Went to the
I know
UK,
it's so tough to just be
Paris,
vacationing through Europe.
France,
Oh, so
Belgium,
tough.
Germany.
Ah,
Yeah,
so rough,
exhausting, man.
so rough.
I know I
Yeah,
make it sound like yeah.
my
I'm
heart, my
trying to
heart
down.
goes out to
I'm
you.
I'm trying to downplay like how fun it actually was, but yeah, it was
Yeah, I was gonna
definitely
say my
yeah.
heart goes out to you. I can tell you're scarred by this.
I you can hear it in my voice, man.
Yeah, wow.
It was already starting in the last episode when where did we do the last episode? Uh,
I believe you were in Germany.
yes. Oh yeah, I was in a conference room in Germany late at night. Shout
Yeah,
out to the
this.
Arte Hotel in Germany for
Yeah,
allowing me.
see how he's like, oh, where was I? Where was I? I don't know where was.
I'm
I
not
in
even joking.
Germany?
I'm not even joking. When I had zero concept of time and place for like 2 weeks. I was like, where are we? What are we doing?
Yeah, yeah. We see
It's
the pain and how rough it was for you. We, our heart goes out for you.
normally I
Yeah,
would try to fight it, but I'm too sick to like actually argue with you right now.
nothing to argue about. It's just like, oh yeah, sorry you had to go on
Oh
a
my
vacation through
goodness.
Europe. Oh no, how
Uh,
tough is life for you?
yeah. Anyways, yeah, but it was definitely a great experience. We'll do again. Hopefully, some point in the future. I'll have to save enough money to like pull that off again. But yeah, no, definitely do it again. Um, but yeah, it was definitely a time. I am wearing the kit of my new favorite football team, the Newcastle United. It was funny. We were coming back from Paris on the train, and on it was night. It was already late at night, and when we got off the train, we saw all these people in this jersey, which looks like a referee shirt, doesn't it? It kind of looks like a referee shirt.
It definitely looks like a basketball ref shirt. I would say a
Sure.
basketball ref shirt. Yeah, yeah.
Right. Yes, yes, yes. So we're going through the train station and we see all these people just like celebrating, cheering, and like yelling. I mean, like happy cheers, right?
Yeah.
Like anybody that passes by, like, yeah, we won, like, all that stuff. And I'm like, did something just happen here? And I'm like, I had no idea what was going on. And then we kind of just, there was a bar there. There's a bar right next to the train station, which is, I guess, appropriate. And you just had like all these people doing the chants and like screaming and like just being
Yeah.
happy. And it turns out when we got back from Paris, it was actually St. Patrick's Day. Oh no!
Hmm.
St. Patrick's Day was the following day, but the day before that, it was a big match. It was like the championship. It was like the championship of all of the teams in the UK, in like the United Kingdom. It was like the
Hmm.
big tournament, like the domestic like championship between all the teams and all of the different leagues, like Premier League and below and all that stuff. And it turns out Newcastle won, and they hadn't won a championship of any kind in 70 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So It was fun. It was like everybody was just having a great time, just like letting out a lot of like pent up emotion and everything. It was funny. By the time we got to our hotel, it was pretty late. I think it was like already 11 at night. At that point, everybody was exhausted in bed and everything. But I was like, I'm hungry. I'm gonna go downstairs to go get something to eat or something. And so while I'm there at the bar, I'm just trying to get food and everything and waiting. And it took a while. It took a while for the food to show up because no one's ordering food at that point. Everybody's at the bar, and our hotel had a lot of people who watched the match at Wembley Stadium. The match was actually at Wembley Stadium, and they beat Liverpool, which is a fairly famous team.
Fairly famous
Everybody
team.
Yeah. And it was funny that of all the teams, it was Liverpool, which I have like several jerseys here that I've been like sent through the years from like Nike and when New Balance had their deal.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, if I was ever gonna be like a quote unquote a fan of like a football team, it'd probably be Liverpool by just the sheer number of jerseys that I have.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then so I didn't say that. Of course, I'm not gonna like ruin anybody's parade, and also they beat Liverpool, so I probably just gonna be mocked at. But
yeah,
it was funny because like I'm just waiting at the bar, and all these people at the bar and like at the lobby, they're just like singing and like doing the chants and like celebrating all stuff. Yeah, man, this is what I wanted. This is what I wanted to see. It was like because I wanted to go to like a pub, watch a match or something, or maybe go to like a match. I wasn't able to do that just schedule wise. It wasn't possible.
Yeah.
But I got to see the next best thing was just seeing these people all happy and stuff. And then there's this one guy who like dropped his wallet, and I was like, "Excuse me, you dropped your wallet." And he's like, "Oh yeah, thanks, mate, thanks," and all that stuff. And he's like, "Did you see the match?" And I'm like, "No, I was coming in from like the train, that night." And he said, "Oh, mate, like because I got his wallet back." He's like, "Do you want a pint?" And I'm like, "Nah, it's all right, it's cool. I'll drink with you guys, like I'll have like a beer with you guys and all that stuff." And then this guy goes on to explain that, I've been a fan of Newcastle my whole life, and I've never seen them win anything. My dad and my uncle, they're Newcastle fans their whole life, and they never got to see this day. So I'm assuming, obviously they've passed on and all that stuff, and they never got to see this day. And he got real emotional, and he did the thing, and he did the thing, and he's like he did the thing, and he pointed up to the sky, and I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm like, these people are awesome. Like, they just care so much. There's just such a passion for like their team. That's, I want to say it's missing here in stateside, but obviously there's a lot of people who are like passionate about their teams. But this feels like there's just such a deep emotional bond that these people just grow up and they just like, they bonded with the team ever since from like birth. And it's just been like this for, and
it's deep. It's deep rooted.
It feels like it's really deep rooted, right? It feels like some fans who are like Dodger fans here, or like Yankee fans or Red Sox. Like there's like particular teams here that have that kind of connection. Laker fans, like there are teams here that have that. There's only like a few number of teams that really have like that deep lifelong connection, I feel. But in Europe, like in the UK with soccer, or football as they call it, it feels like a lot of everybody has a team. Every person there seems to have like somebody that they root for, and to see one that like hasn't won anything, and like everybody, it seems like everybody there wasn't around for the first time, for the first for like the 70 years ago. I didn't think anybody there was like in their 80s or anything like that. But to see them all like celebrate their first championship was like, man, that is so cool.
That's crazy. So I mean, awesome. You have to think if somebody is still around, they would have had to be like 6, 7 or something like that to still remember it, like to still have that part of a core memory. So that means they would be like 78 years old, 75 years old, something like that.
Yeah, exactly. And it was so awesome. And I recorded some of it, and it's really cool just to hear them like do the chants and all the songs and all that stuff. I had no idea what the song was that. I have no idea because it seems like all of these teams have like their own like theme songs and all that stuff, and I have no idea what
theme song.
And then it's like what is it? Liverpool has like "You'll Never Walk Alone" and all that stuff. I kind of have an idea what they're saying in that song, but like,
they all do.
They all have it, right? And so I was like, okay, cool. I mean, and now it's a core memory for me. I mean, I'm old, but whatever. This is like a memory for me now for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
It's like I got to celebrate a championship with like a bunch of people from Newcastle, and I think Newcastle's actually far away from like London, So it was
Mm.
like these people traveled just to like watch this match. And so
Yeah,
the
man,
next
it's
day,
serious.
it's serious. And so the next day, I was like, I need to like celebrate the occasion by buying like a jersey. And sure enough, like there's an Adidas shop, and I picked this up, and it's like their vintage. This is not like the current jersey that they wear. They have like a different sponsor on here, and it's funny because it says Newcastle, like the beer and all that stuff. I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
cool. So yeah, I picked that up in celebration in honor of my new favorite football team, Newcastle.
got it. So you're a bandwagon Newcastle fan.
Yes, I
Is that
am.
what?
I told them. I told anybody who was there. I
Okay,
told
okay.
anybody. I admitted it when I bought the jersey. They were like, "Bro, did you watch the match?" And I'm like, "No, I'm just jumping on the bandwagon." I totally admit it. I have no shame in admitting that I am here just to be a part of the vibes. Not
I
even.
don't.
I think they should appreciate the honesty. Like I'm
Yeah,
not trying to fake it. I'm not trying to fake it.
yeah.
You
I was
know.
like, I don't know if I should appreciate the honesty or be disappointed in the brazen in the brazen bandwagon. That
Hey
I'm
man.
not sure.
Hey man, hey, you only get to do it once every 70 years, so you might as well
Yeah.
just be a part of it. So I thought that was it was pretty fun. So on this week's episode of Hard Pass, we talked about the return of Starbury. Well, the I guess second attempted return of Starbury.
The second pre-announcement
Yes,
launch event.
launch. Like kind of yeah. The discussions are being had. It's like stuff is happening of
Yeah.
Stephon Marbury's signature brand. And the reason why we say like this is the second time because it really felt like we did this before, and it turns out we did do this before almost a decade ago. Like I
Yeah.
looked it up, and there was like an ESPN article. It was like 2015 or 2016, and Stephon Marbury was talking about like how shoes are overpriced, and he was coming for Jordans and LeBrons and all that stuff. And I'm like, cool,
Hmm.
would not mind a another brand coming into the game and like is trying to disrupt things and all that stuff. And that's why when I saw this news in this complex article where Welty spoke to Stefan, and I was like, wait, didn't he already do this? And yes, sure enough, he did try to do it before, but I guess nothing came of that initial attempt, and now they're trying again with a potential launch next summer. Stephon Marbury said next summer, which I'm not sure if he means this coming summer or the following 2026. So we'll see what he means by that. I guess more clarity would be nice. But
Yeah. He's been
the thing,
trying to launch a brand for a while. I remember he did something. He was working on something outside of like the Strawberry line
mm,
before as well. Um, yeah, I'm not sure where. I imagine that obviously didn't go anywhere, and so he's going to try to fall back on the Starberry brand.
I see, I see. Well, the thing that he talked about is, the thought is that it would be different this time because it's a new generation of athletes, and that the pricing might be a little, pricing also will probably be, in the budget range again. They'll try to do it like in that way, and I
Yeah,
think,
because yeah, fifteen
yeah,
dollars
go ahead.
isn't going to work.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was going to say because
yeah,
$15 is not going to work, not in today's world.
yeah.
I think like we talked about it on the show, we said 30, 40, but it probably I would say maybe even 50, 60. I think that's still a good place.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, $15 back in 2006 sounded like a good idea. $15 now. You don't, you can't really rely on anything in $15 sneakers in 2025. You have no idea what that quality. I mean, you're already questioning the quality of the initial Starberries in 2006. What's it going to be
Yeah.
now in like 2000, 25? So $30, $40 probably is probably more realistic, but also you did say maybe $50, $60 would actually be more acceptable in terms of like quality wise and everything. Like you still need to be able to pitch the quality of the shoe regardless of
Yeah.
like, yeah, you can price it as cheap as you want, but at some point the quality also has to deliver too. So, and we talked about it on the show. He said that we're in a new generation, a new era of athlete, and that's very much true
Yeah.
because we're now like in an era where an athlete can create and survive, with their own brand. You look at Jalen Brown;
Yeah.
he's got 7-for-1 performance. I mean, we don't know what numbers are, but there seems to be a good buzz going for it, and he does certainly has like a following of fans who seem to be down to support him. And you look at
which is
Kyrie
dope.
Irving, yeah, and you look at Kyrie Irving with Anta. Sure, Anta is like a big brand, but you can see how now these athletes, they don't have to like stick with the Nikes or the Adidases of the New Balances, or the
Yeah, which
traditional
is
brands that
cool.
we've known. Yeah, and I think that's great. And I think we definitely reached a point where fans are also willing to follow an athlete to these brands, because we talked about like how there's definitely like a generation of fans who follow the teams, and
Hmm.
but nowadays we're definitely like in a generation of fans who follow the athletes wherever they go. So yeah, we have like the athletes who follow LeBron, and they'll follow LeBron whether he's in Cleveland or Miami or in LA. They're not going to stick with Cleveland or Miami or LA if LeBron's not there
Yeah,
anymore. You know, so, and I think that also now applies to sneaker brands. Maybe there was a time when, oh, Kobe left Adidas, I'm still going to stick with Adidas. Or if Jordan had left, Nike, they would have stuck with Nike or something like that. Or
mm,
different athletes like lead brands. Like, I'm gonna stick with the brand. But nowadays it's like, oh, X so and so athlete left, like Kyrie. Kyrie left Nike. I'm not just gonna keep wearing Nikes. I'm gonna wear what Kyrie wears next. I'm gonna be interested in what he
yeah,
has going on next. And same thing with Jalen. Jalen, had a thing with Adidas, and then he was a sneaker free agent for a while, and now he has 7-1 performance. And so now these fans are gonna stick with where Jalen is going. So, and I think that's where maybe Starbury sees that, and like that's how Stephon, it can kind of capitalize on that as well, because like we mentioned on the show, there's like this whole generation of fans who have seen Steph grow up. It's weird for me to like say Steph, because when I think of Steph, I think of like Steph Curry now. Nowadays,
oh,
it's like yeah. It's hard for me to
yeah,
like say Steph and not think of like Steph Curry. So
yeah,
it's like wild to me. Like whenever I hear that, I'm like, oh wait a minute, no, I'm supposed to be thinking of Stephon When I say Steph now, it's supposed to be Steph Curry, not Stephon Marbury. But anyways,
yeah.
I
He
think it's
created his
interesting now.
own.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, yeah,
Oh,
he
go
kind
ahead.
of created his own lane, especially when he went overseas. Like
Yeah.
he is massive overseas.
Yeah.
So I think this will help him in that regard. Like he might, help his brand at least in that regard. Like if he can do some numbers in China, like I think what he does in the U.S. will be almost insignificant just because he doesn't have that sort of star power anymore.
Right.
He doesn't have that name recognition anymore here in the States. He's going to have to do something to get that name recognition here, and I just don't think that's a lot of work and a lot of buildup. And I think also what you were saying was important, like the quality of those shoes has to be great. Whether it's $15 or it's $60, the quality and the consumer expects so much more now that the quality of those sneakers are going to have to be really, really nice. But I know he has access to a lot of things over there in the manufacturing and development process
Mm-hmm.
because of who he is. You know what I mean? That makes him a celebrity there and gives him, that I think he won a championship out there for one of the teams.
Yeah.
And I think with that, that gives you like certain rights as a non-Chinese person. Like I think that gives him like a bit of rights in China, and that I think will give him access to things that most people don't have access to. So if he's serious about it, I would love to see it come back, but it has to be done in the right way. You can't rely on old thinking and expect it to pop off. It's one thing to think about athletes and him being a star athlete there, but in the U.S., it's obviously a lot harder fight, which we're seeing with someone that has incredible name recognition like Kyrie, and his stuff isn't just flying off the shelves. It's doing well. Don't get me wrong, it's doing well. But Kyrie is also a massive, massive superstar, and Marbury
Yeah.
just doesn't have that sort of um, cultural cachet anymore.
Right. Right. And you did mention the Kyrie. I actually looked it up too. It was interesting that with Kyrie, the Anti-Kai 2 seems to be doing well. Like the resale for it has actually like doubled the retail. Like the first pair sold out pretty quickly, and then
Oh, dope.
yeah, and I was like, oh man, so it must be really doing well for Kai. So good for him. Um, But here's the thing that I do wonder though. Like when Stephon Marbury wants to bring back Starbury brand, do you feel like it's a way for him to kind of come back to America? Do you feel like it's him
Mm,
wanting to be a way for him to kind of because he had his redemption in China, right?
yeah.
And to be fair, like it's huge and it's great for him personally,
Hmm.
but not everybody knows that full story here stateside, right? Like because obviously it happened
Yeah.
overseas. Do you feel like part of the reason why Starbury tried to do it in 2016 and why he's trying to do it again is because he wants to be able to have that redemption here in the US as well? Because I think for some people, or maybe for a lot of people, their last image of Stephon Marbury is not celebrating a championship in China and having like this huge arc of
Yeah.
like fulfilling his promise somewhere else. It was him
Yeah.
eating Vaseline and like, kind of going off the
Yeah.
rails a little bit, right? Do you feel like the reason why he's trying to do this again is so he can kind of be like, hey man, I have a story to tell and I want everybody to, kind of see the full arc, and maybe this is my chance to kind of do that here, and to have it to see that promise fulfilled stateside as well. Do you feel like that's part of like why Marbury's trying to do this again?
I would say, yeah. I think anybody wants to
It
come back
matters to him.
home.
Yes, it matters to him that the perception of him here in America is not that guy that
Yeah.
we last saw, in
Yeah.
the Celtics or on whatever, and was
Yep.
just kind of having his moments. It's a
Yep.
guy who's successful.
Yep. I think everybody wants to come back home and have that to get that win back at home, so to speak.
Yeah, yeah. And do you feel like with current, like when we talked about Kyrie too. Do you think it matters to Kyrie because you had a chance to like actually like go to China and all that stuff with the Kyrie stuff? Do you think it really matters to him that it pops off here stateside as well, or do you think he's kind of happy regardless of where it is?
No, I think it.
Where
I think it does. I think it does.
mm-hmm.
I think you know these guys are huge, huge celebrities, and I think they're businessmen, but also they're human. And I think there's ego involved too. You want to have you just want to have it pop off at home. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
there is a joy, and there is also a level of um, pettiness. I think for Kyrie that if this pops off, I think
He tried
I'm
throwing his shit in
not to
Nike's
not to
face.
project anything onto Kyrie and say that's what he actually feels, but I do think there's an opportunity for it, and I think he wants to see that pop off here.
Right, because I feel like with Dwayne Wade when he made that leap to Li Ning, right, there was certainly a part of him that probably was like, I'm gonna show Jordan Brand, I'm gonna show Converse that
Yep,
I was worthy of something beyond what I was getting, where he was currently. I feel like
one
there
hundred
was a huge
percent,
part of him, and
100%.
D Wade had a great run in Li Ning, but it never popped off here stateside,
Yeah, it
and
never got the traction that like Kyrie stuff is getting.
exactly, right? Like it took Kyrie, and obviously part of it was because it happened when it happened, like the time wise and everything. Like if D Wade, had made his move and was in his prime, now I think it would be a totally different story. But with Kyrie, it took him one signature shoot to kind of do more stateside than any of like D Wade stuff. I thought that was
Yeah,
like
the leaning stuff was. I think there was a couple things with the leaning stuff. The leaning stuff looked dramatic, not dramatically different, but it didn't have the typical shape that you expect in a basketball shoe. It felt
sure,
different.
sure,
And
sure.
I don't know if the American public was ready for that. Where the Kyrie stuff, it looks different, but it also feels the same to what he's kind of been doing. And so like that design language isn't too different, so they're able to kind of understand it. Um, and also the leaning stuff was priced higher. Like the
Yes,
Kyrie stuff is priced pretty reasonably, but the leaning stuff was really expensive. And so I think I think that plays into the conversation as well. And then also like Kyrie has a team of people here in America pushing his shoes. Like there's a
mm,
whole Anta office like here in LA actually
yeah.
that's really like focused on building the brand here in the States. And I don't know that Li Ning had that. they had a couple of PR agencies that would send shoes out, but there wasn't
Right,
a
right.
dedicated team here to blowing up the brand and getting the brand messaging out there.
Yeah, it really felt like with Dwayne Wade, it was like the old style thinking. Like we got the star, and that's
Yep.
gonna be enough to bring in the audience.
Yeah.
Whereas with Kyrie, there seems to be a lot more grassroots effort,
Yep.
and the thing with Kyrie is like he has that connection, right? Like we talked about it before, where Kai seems to have like a deeper connection with his fans,
Yep.
a lot deeper, and then a lot more like because he does his Twitch streams, he actually like games with like fellow fans, and Dwayne Wade, never, he was more of like the traditional NBA celebrity, where it was like I'm
Yeah.
kind of this superstar, and you kind of go where I go. And I have connections with the fans, but it's not in the same way that Kyrie does, where he actually talks to them and really like connects with them on a personal level.
Yeah, it wasn't the same. Yeah, it wasn't the same.
Yeah,
Kyrie just has a different relationship with his fans.
yeah, yeah. And that's why with Marbury, uh, it's possible if he tries that. I mean, it's gonna be different because he's not playing anymore. So his hope is maybe like the older fans who grew up watching him, pick up on his stuff and like kind of push encourages their kids to kind of check out like what Starbury was all about back in the days. Like if you're a younger kid and you watch like Steph Marbury highlights, you're gonna be like, oh dude, that guy was a problem. That dude
Yeah,
was like a
yeah, for
baller,
sure.
right? So maybe that's the hope with Starbury is like his hope is like the older generation who grew up like watching him kind of like pushes the Starbury stuff onto the younger generation. Is that's probably what the hope is with him. So
Yeah,
I
I
think it's
mean,
gonna be interesting to see how it goes.
yeah, I would say that's a big lift. So we'll have to see if that ever comes to fruition because that's asking a lot.
Yeah, yeah, totally, totally. Well, speaking of things that you know probably not asking a lot of with consumers is Nike. I think they may have found a thing
Yeah.
that.
Oh, I'm gonna go grab it. All right,
Oh,
go
yeah,
go
go.
ahead. Keep
Yes,
going.
good, good,
Keep
good,
going.
good, good.
Keep going.
All right.
Keep going.
So while Jacques is going to go grab the thing that we're going to be talking about in a second, there's a new Nike silhouette that is blowing up on TikTok. It's something that I did not expect, or maybe I should have. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I should have expected that this would blow up. It's the Nike ReactX Rejuvenate. It's basically Nike Crocs. It's I guess it's being labeled as like a recovery shoe, something that's for chill sessions. But basically, it's Crocs. It's a Nike Crocs shoe, and for reasons that I can't explain, it has become a viral sensation on TikTok. I've seen a couple of TikToks about it, and it's your typical like people kind of do crazy stunts with them, or just kind of just do fit videos with them, and kind of have like their silly gimmicks with them.
Yep.
And I gotta say, it's working on me because I did want a pair just to like have them on. Like I wanted the green pair especially because it's funky, it's funny. And look at you, oh look at you. Of
Yeah.
course you have the green pair,
They're not
man.
my size though. They're not my size though. I
Ah,
just got them because I wanted to do a video on them.
sure, sure, right.
I'm gonna take them back, but yeah, it's weird. It's an interesting shoe. Very very
So
croc like.
oh well, so you haven't you won't be able to put them on to actually get a feel for them. They're too
No,
small.
no, these are too small. Yeah, these are like a size 8 or something like that. Yeah, it's an 8.
Ah,
Yeah,
right, right.
that's 3 sizes too small, bro.
And they're selling out. I cannot find a pair online. I mean, there's like certain like big sizes and small. Like it's kind of like any other pair that's like tough to find. Is like the
Yeah,
super small sizes are easier to get, or the super big sizes. But good luck finding any of these in the 10s, 11s, and all that. So
yeah.
I we are Nike. Did Nike find their hit? Did Nike find the thing that they were looking for? Did Nike find their Roshis of the 2020s? Did they
Yep. I was
find
gonna
that
say, is
spot? Did
this
they
this is
finally
like
find
the
it?
new Roshi run? This is like the new Roshi
Yeah.
run.
The affordable, easy to wear, everybody has a pair. It's
Yeah.
kind of nuts that all they really needed to do was basically make a Crocs, let's say knockoff. but it is
Yeah,
what
I
it
mean,
is.
yeah,
It's what
it
it is.
definitely looks like a pair of Crocs for sure.
Yeah.
It's
The
very
only
like
thing
Croc
missing,
like.
the only thing missing is that Nike should just say, "Screw it, let's make gibbets."
Yep.
Like, okay, so that's the thing though. Are they all like this? The holes are they all similar sized, or are they actually different?
They're different. They're pretty close. They're pretty close to
Okay,
each other, sizing
but
wise.
but they could make gibbets. They
Yeah,
could
yeah,
make
yeah.
okay.
Gibbets would still fit in these. I don't. Are my Crocs in here?
Okay. So
No,
this is the
My
true test.
Crocs aren't in here.
Okay, so the true test is you finding your Crocs and putting some gibbets in there because I feel like
Yeah.
that's a lane
Wait.
that.
Oh, I have my George Jetson Crocs. Hold on. I have them over
Okay,
here.
cool. So that I feel like that is an actual test of what Nike could possibly do with this ReactX or Rejuvenate is to make gibbets for these because those are super popular and the possibilities for collab like they could open up a whole new world of collabs with these. As you can see
And
right
we
now,
talked
Jacques.
about this before. We talked about this before about having um, Nike do gibbets. So
Yeah.
let's see here. Let's see
Nike
here.
could have collaborated with Crocs and just made Nike gibbets, and that would have been
Yeah.
that. But no, they're like, no, we're gonna make our own Crocs and make our own gibbets. Well, they haven't said that, but I feel like that's in play now, and
Uh,
we're going to
so yeah. So
break
yeah, the
everyone's
gibbets
brain
fit.
here. The gibbets fit,
Yeah. Yeah. So
and
like the
it's not
gibbets
like it's
fit.
there we
So
go, and that's definitely gonna be
that's
in like our social
that,
clip,
that's like the big one. Let me see if it'll go inside one of those smaller holes.
right? But I feel like there's a potential there for Nike to kind of
Yeah. So it
not
doesn't
necessarily
necessarily fit
steal.
into the smaller holes.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
you probably could, but I don't. I'm not doing all that work.
Yeah. No, it's fine. But it's possible though. What you're saying, it is possible.
Yeah, yeah. Like especially like the bigger slots there at the top. You
Right.
definitely put it into those. Like
Yeah.
that's an easy one.
Yeah. I feel like there's a huge potential there for Nike to kind of
Yeah. So like
take some take some market
that's
share out of
easy.
Crocs. Yeah. There it
Yeah.
is. There it is. And now you've just made a Crocs Nike Jetsons collab without even trying that hard.
Without even trying. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I would assume Nike maybe they don't want to do this because then it's too much like Crocs.
Who cares? I think we are in the era of trying things to to kind of rejuvenate
But I'm saying
the
like Nike,
Nike.
they're gonna care when they want to be original and you don't want to be seen as like copying someone else. But yeah,
That sounds like
it
when Apple.
definitely fits.
That sounds like when Android has like new features that are like cool and everything, and then Apple does it like 5 years later, and it's like, oh man, look at this cool thing that we did, and then
Yeah.
everyone's like, but yeah, but like Android already did like 5 years earlier. We're
Android
like,
did
no,
this
but
like 5 years ago. Yeah. So I mean,
yeah,
I
but then
guess you can get
Microsoft.
some of the smaller ones too there. Yeah.
Yeah, there you
So
go.
shout
So
out to Extra Butter. They made
now
these.
you have an extra butter. Yeah, no. So now you have an extra butter Nike collab. There you go.
Extra Butter Nike collab, Jetson
Uh,
Nike, all
yeah.
the things. Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean, it's the
I,
same through the same stretchy material. So like it's that same like
yeah,
yeah.
man. It's it. I like that color because it reminds me of the Nate Robinson shoes, the one he wore during like one dunk contest. The Kryptonates, I think that's what they were
Oh, the
called.
Kryptonite. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it
That's a good
reminds me
one.
of that. Yeah, so I think that's why. That's why I wanted the green ones. Not I've actually like had time to think about it. But yeah, I
Yeah.
think with the way that they're going right now online, and how like kids really love their TikToks and like the TikTok trends.
Yeah.
This has legs. Like this doesn't
Yeah.
feel like something that is just like a one time gonna go away anytime soon because it's relatively. I mean, pricing's not that bad. What is it like 70?
I mean, yeah, they're expensive. They're $70, so they are definitely on the more expensive side because Crocs are how much are Crocs? I don't even know how
30,
much Crocs
40,
are.
40, I think. I think
Is it
40
40? Is it that
for
much?
like
Let's see.
the classic Crocs. I think they're like 40, 30 or 40. But I think with people willing to pay that Nike premium, I think it's going to be it's not going to be that much of a problem for Nike in this
Yeah, I mean,
case.
well, no, I mean, yeah, the classic Crocs are 50, 50,
Oh,
55.
well, if
So,
that's the case, then yeah, Nike shouldn't have any problem then.
yeah, yeah, the Echo is 69, or
Nice.
yeah, the Echo is 70. So though,
Yeah,
so like, this is right in line.
yeah. So
This is right in
this
line. Yeah,
this shouldn't be a problem for Nike then. If the pricing is relatively the same, or if not the same, yeah, I think this will actually be something that will do well for them.
yeah, like the
Now and
prices
into like
69, 70, 70, 80. Some are 80. The Echo Storm is 80.
wow, I'd had no idea.
The
I think
Echo Bungee Cord is 90.
wow, Crocs is really
So
getting up there, huh? Wow.
yeah, I
Okay.
didn't realize they were this expensive. I thought they
No,
were
but the
always
classics,
like,
I think the classic Crocs are still like in the 40s and 50s, right?
yeah,
I
yeah,
think
40s and
yeah.
50s for the classic ones, but the fancier ones get a little more
Yeah.
expensive. So
Yeah,
yeah, there it is.
I think I paid like 70 for my Echoes or 60, but yeah, like I said, if Nike can keep these in stock and like releasing new colors and eventually getting into the
Yeah,
collab of it all, I think they have a chance to compete with Crocs in that like category, and this could be the start of like rejuvenation of the Nike brand.
wow.
Yes, I went there. Who knew? Who knew that something they literally would be rejuvenated by a sneaker, a clog called Rejuvenate. That that would be the funniest bit of it all.
This could be like the how Roshi's popped off, or how like the Futures popped off
Mhm.
for that brief time period. So hopefully these have a longer tail, and they stick around. So we'll see though. That'd be
Anyways,
funny.
moving on to our next topic. Um, Jacques, do you remember when people were complaining about the Kobe's, the Dodger, the was I guess it's called the Royal Blue, the Kobe
Yeah,
6 Pro Trail Royal Blue collection. For
yeah,
those who don't know, there's a Kobe 6 Pro Trail that's basically based on the Dodgers colors.
yeah,
They're going to be I believe they're releasing wider later this year, but Undefeated had a entire collab collection to go along with I guess their supply and everything, and they
yeah.
released it. Was it last week? And
Yep.
it not only included a sneaker, it included like a whole range. There was a jersey, there was a whole collection of like baseball gear to go along with it, and the
Yeah.
reaction online was certainly not positive because everyone once again got into their feelings of like, oh, this is gonna be super limited. I'm not gonna be able to buy these. Vanessa's holding out on us again, and when it came out, it didn't sell out. The sneakers did, because we expect the sneakers would probably go quick. But
Yeah.
as of this recording, the baseball stuff is like, not everything I think is still available, but the gloves are still available.
Yeah.
The
There's only
Nike,
certain sizes though. There's only
right?
certain sizes though.
But you can still get them though. That the whole point is
Yeah.
that they're not sold out, and people still complaining that they're not sold out. I mean, people are complaining that, oh, I won't be able to buy them. Well, you can buy them now. You can get them. Why are you still
Yeah, maybe they
making
can't get their size though, maybe that's the complaint. They can't get
a?
their size.
I'm still. It's just to me, it's like a lot of pre-hating for the sake of pre-hating.
Pre-hating. I love that.
Yeah,
Pre-hating.
yeah. It's like don't get your feelings all worked up, and then it happened, and then once it's there and it didn't actually happen, you're still like hating for whatever reason. Like the baseball
So,
gear is
yeah.
still, yeah, the whole catcher stuff is still available. I mean, people didn't know the pricing then, but it turns out it's $800, so it makes a lot of sense why it would still be available.
Is that
But
the I wonder how much a catcher set
the
goes for in general.
I don't know, but
Let me-
maybe it's probably not 800. Well, it's probably not $800. I'm guessing. Of course, I could be wrong, and baseball is actually a pretty expensive sport. Uh, from what I
So I'm looking at some prices here.
uh huh.
So the Nike Diamond Elite baseball set by itself, not the Kobe version, is
Right.
$600.
Oh, so it's not that much
So
of a
this is like a
bump. It's a bump.
$200 premium, but you
Right.
can get like a Eaton version for $300.
Oh, okay. Well,
There's like a
I get well.
Mizuno adult version that's 290.
Okay.
Eaton, they have an elite catcher set for 300. So I would say they're about looks like about $300 for like I'm gonna say the good stuff again, not having any reference on what good stuff is in baseball, but I'm gonna say like if you like this looks like the stuff like mom, like I want the Eaton one, or I want the Nike one, or the Wilson one, or whatever it is, or the Under Armour
Right.
version, or whatever. Although the Under Armour version, yeah, like 280. So it looks like
Right.
that's like the price for the at 250 to 300 seems to be
Right.
what they're priced at. Although you can get like
Mm-hmm.
some cheaper ones for that's a kid size for 160. So yeah,
Oh. Well.
I mean it
But
doesn't it's definitely expensive. Like the diamond version is 600 and Kobe's is 800. So it's not priced well, so to
right.
speak. But you know I guess it kind of just depends. You want that Kobe branding.
And people do want that Kobe branding, but
Yep.
the point still, I think the point still stands is that we should always just wait until the stuff is actually out before we kind of get into our like complaining about stuff is not
Yeah.
going to be available and stuff is not going to be this or that or whatever. It's like,
Oh, stop being reasonable, Juan.
how dare I be the reasonable one,
Yeah, be the
as
reasonable one in this conversation.
I know, right? As evidence has proved through the years of us doing the hard pass and me, doing this podcast. If I'm the reasonable one, yo, man, we got we got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, we
But
got a lot
yeah,
to talk about. That's funny.
like, and also just the reality is that I think we're getting close to where Kobe's are gonna be like readily available again. I think we're kind of getting near to
Yeah.
that point now. Like we've seen the recent releases of like the Year of the Snake Kobe's. Like
Yeah.
I remember going to like a mall. I forget where it was, but it was just there. It was just readily available. You could buy them right. Just no problems. And
Yeah. I
people
got the red
like.
pair. I got the
Oh,
red
you got
pair
the red
sent
pair.
from. Yeah, I got them sent from China. I pay way too much for them.
Oh,
I probably if I would have waited, I probably would have gotten them for half of what I paid. But whatever. So
right.
they're not going to be they're not yeah. Kobe's they're normally at normalizing, which is great I think for everybody.
Yeah. Did your pair like did it blow out like when you were trying to make a slide or something like that one clip?
I haven't actually played in them yet, but I will let you know because I know that's a thing. That's
Yes,
definitely a thing.
that was certainly a thing that happened, and I'm sure Mamba's like looking down right now, like, what the heck, guys? What the
Yeah,
heck? What are we doing? What are we
it's
doing?
not the vibes, not the vibes,
Not the vibes. Of course, Adidas had something to say about it because, you that's when you capitalize is when stuff like that
which was
happens.
good, which was
Yeah.
good, perfect timing.
Yes, of course, of course. But yeah, like, so my voice has definitely gotten worse as this.
You sound hella tired too.
Yeah,
You sound
yeah.
tired too.
I'm still trying to get over the jet lag and everything. But yeah, that is episode 29 of the Too Hard to Pass podcast. I am your
Juan's
co-host.
back from his worldwide tour, ladies and gentlemen. He blessed us with a podcast today. Thank you,
How dare
Juan,
you?
for showing
How
us
dare you?
for
How
showing
dare
us
you?
some
How
love
dare
and
you? How
taking
dare
time
you?
out of your busy schedule to bless us with the podcast today. You
I
know what? You just
love.
sit back and relax. That's episode 29, guys. Thank you for listening. We appreciate you. Make sure you leave a good review. Juan, after his $1 million tour of Europe, is really, really tired right now. He needs to get
I
some rest.
drove throughout Europe.
So,
How am I a
so
multi-billionaire if I drove
I'll
around
just,
Europe, man?
I'll handle it, Juan. You don't have to say anything. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Leave a good review. I'm Jacques Slade. He's Juan. Again, you guys send him well wishes and let him know You appreciate taking out of his busy schedule to come and join us today. He didn't have to, but he chose to, and for that we say thank you, Juan. This is the Too Hard to Pass podcast. If you want to send us an email, it's the Too Hard to Pass podcast at gmail.com. The number two, and with that, we'll see you guys or talk to you guys next time.